Everyone says to buy the dip, but what do you do when the dip keeps on dipping? In this video, we're going to talk about that. We're going to look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, and we're going to look to see where we can get in on reversals for when the dip does actually end and then catch the next move up. So let's talk about it. Good morning, guys. It is Monday, the 1st of September today. It's been a little bit of a boring week over the past week in the crypto markets, for me anyway. Not many opportunities, and I've been finding myself going down to the lower time frames on things like Solana just to find some entry opportunities, which we'll talk about in this video. We do this every single Monday, do a top-down analysis and give a trade plan for the week ahead. And then we do a live stream at 6:30 p.m. UK time tonight, where we just cover everything in a little bit more detail and refine the plan from this video. So make sure you get involved in that. This video is also sponsored by What Exchange. It's the platform you'll see me charting on. If you want to support the channel, there's a ref link in the description below to jump on the non-KYC perp decks. So let's get on to the charts. The picture on Bitcoin is relatively clean. So we have this high that gets taken out, and then we can look to where the buying took place to break that high, which is down here, which is where price is actually coming to at the moment. Now, it came up and took out the previous high, wicked it, and then is now tumbling down to where I think the deepest retrace level is, which is at about 105K. And I think if it does lose that level, then we can start looking down here at about 92K. I think that's the next area on this time frame where price can go to. But let's see what happens on H4. Okay, so this is the previous high from the daily time frame, and then there's a continuation cluster there which gets taken out, and now price is dropping down into this next daily level. On this time frame, you can see that it's actually forming from there. So what I would actually expect, and what I'm looking out for, is a reversal pattern on this time frame at this level where I can look to go long and take it back up to the highs. However, I'm also looking out for the fact that this is a really key level and it may well break and then offer a continuation level down to about 92K, which you can see here on this time frame. So I'm looking out for some sort of sideways pattern at this point, and I think it's a level where if it breaks, the market structure breaks, and then there's a lot of strength in the downside, so we can start looking for shorts. But like I said, I would only be looking down to about the 92K level for a target with shorts, and then look for a reversal. Otherwise, if it does indeed go without me and start bouncing back up, I think it will come back up to this like kind of 114K level. This is where the selling took place to take out this level and ultimately change the market structure there. So I'll be looking for price to come up and then put some sideways in, and then from that point it should either break up to the upside and tell us that it wants to go higher, in which case I'll look for longs. It may well break down here, and then that's where we can get a short down to about 92K. But that level is quite nice at 114K, and then this one at 105K. But then the next key level after that is 92K. So playing these levels like that. ETH on the daily is looking quite nice as well. So we had this big high, and then, as we talked about in other episodes, this continuation level, which has so far been holding price up on this time frame. You can see it pushes up, fakes it to the downside, and then puts in a new all-time high, and then it's now coming back down to that level. So let's look on H4 to see what's happened and what we can expect next. So I'm just going to clean this level up a little bit, that we don't need that. Okay. And then we have this high, which gets taken out after this level gets tested. And then we have the decision point here, which is what I spoke about in my video last week, where the buying took place to come up and push up into the new high. And it's now getting retested and kind of holding up at the moment. So if you're bullish, which I'm looking for longs, we want to see a new high above this 4,500 level. So above this point. So what I'd be looking for on this time frame is a break to the upside, and then a retrace down and then some sort of pattern like that where I can get long. Otherwise, it will come down here, and similar to that Bitcoin level, it needs to go sideways, and then it will either break to the upside, telling us that this has put in some compression into the area and is breaking to the upside, and we can go long. Otherwise, it's a market structure break, and then I think the next level would be down here at about 3,800, so it could be shorted down there. And that's because this is the end of a chain, which we'll look at in the lower time frames in a moment. But that's my plan at this point, is to look for reversals or continuations. I'm not really sure where the market is going to go next, but we can get a clue after it puts in some consolidation and then either breaks out, or it could indeed fake out to the upside, and then we can go long. But it's just going to need a little bit of patience. Now, if we go to the hourly time frame, I'll show you that level, which we've talked about on other streams and videos, where down here we had the top of the chain, and if we look to the bottom of the chain, it's at about 3,800. So it's bounced off it here. If it comes back down to retest it, I do expect it will come back into the extreme of this at about 3,800, where I can then look for reversal patterns. But we'll see what happens over the course of the day and the course of the week. However, it's looking like it may well find some strength here and then put in high highs just to give us a signal it wants to go higher up. And finally, Solana on the daily is looking relatively bullish. So we have this big high that has been tested multiple times now, and it's finally put in a higher high with a close. So we'd be looking for longs based on this information. And from that information on H4, we can see this decision point here, which is kind of getting tested at the moment. And this is where the buying took place to come up and make the higher high in this chain. But you can see a series of higher lows and higher highs. So we're in a bullish channel. So it makes sense down here to look for longs. I am just going to wait a little bit longer to do that. I just want to see a little bit more confirmation on the lower time frames. So the extreme of this level hasn't yet been tested. It would be perfect for me if it comes down here and then puts in a reversal pattern like so. Otherwise, I am just waiting for it to range and just give me a bit more information that this level is going to hold before looking to go long. I'm not really looking for shorts here. I do think overall it does look bullish. And from that picture I've just painted, we have the nearest high before the low gets put in. So it could well come up here, consolidate and push to the upside. But ultimately, what would give us the most definite signal that it's going to push back up is to break this 206 level. And again, look for some sort of continuation. You can get in with tighter RR at a continuation level like so, and then run it with a little bit more ease than waiting for reversal signs at this point. And again, it is Monday. It's the first of the month as well. So it may well be that things build more than they get ready to rip. But this is at a key level. Just to reiterate, I would prefer to see some more sideways price action to build that base and then to push up. But if it doesn't do that and it goes without me, I'm happy to look for continuations at the next nearby resistance level at about 206 or 202. Do you agree or do you disagree with what I've said in this video? I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something, most importantly, and I do genuinely hope that this has given you a little bit of a map of what to expect in the coming weeks and that it helps you with your own analysis. If it does, let me know in the comments below that it has helped you out. If not, you have more content here to enjoy while you wait for the live stream to come at 6:30 p.m. UK time tonight. And I'll see you there, okay?